Hi toy fans, coming to you live from the USS Flag deck once again with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Zbobtoys Checkpoint Accessory playset. This set comes from a company that doesn't have a lot of renown, but you might have seen the item on sites such as BBTS, or if you're here in Australia, Shugo or Sugo Toys, depending on how you pronounce it. This is a set that is scaled for 6-inch figures or above. And yeah, let's have a look at what's inside the box. Okay, let's crack this open. Now, as you can see, it's a pretty nondescript box. There's not much in terms of labeling, like even if I spin it around here, trying not to destroy parts of the flag. It says made in China. It's got like a product code. It is upside down, so apologies for that. You know what, let's flip it over, because that might be the right way up in terms of opening it. And yeah, so you're not going to really get a great idea of what's inside the box from the outer. So let's take my trusty little blade here and try and cut a straight line. Hope everyone's having a great day. Myself, I've been pretty busy, and I've just picked up a new tripod and some accessories, which I've just proceeded to knock over. We'll try not to do that again. This is what happens when you're dealing with something of such a large size. All right, so. Okay, we've got a few different things going on here. Now this looks like a base plate, if I'm assuming correctly. But it is. As you can see, it's got like a, I guess a cement or ground finish to it, like a rough sort of terrain. So quite solid. If we flip over the other side, it's pretty flat, so that will display nicely on a shelf, or in my case it's going to be going on top of a detolf cabinet. So we'll just pop that to the side. Now this is something that I'd seen in a video, I can't even remember whose video it was, in their collection. I thought this would be great for what I want to do with my display purposes, and this thing's going to be a pain in the neck to get out by the looks of it. Oof, exploding styrofoam. All right, let's have a see what else we can do with this. It is quite heavy, so I don't want to, and I'm also not too sure how many pieces this is, or if it's taped. So let's flip it up. It is taped. So I'm going to cut this open and not make any mess, or else we'll be here for ages. So just bear with me, and we'll reveal the contents shortly. Okay, so after the great styrofoam explosion of 2023, we're back, and we're just gonna take each piece out bit by bit. So this, as you can see, is like a brick wall component of the set. I don't know exactly what it's made from, but it's quite heavy. It's got a bit of weight to it, and I dare say it's some sort of ceramic overlay, because it is quite textured. As you can see, the detail actually feels a bit like stone, which is pretty cool. So that is one component. We'll pop to the side. Now this next bit will be a bit trickier to get out. So I'll just lift that up for a moment. Pop this down. Try not to. Now this is made of a metal, so again it does have a bit of weight to it. And there is a deluxe version of this set. This is the base level one, and I'll go into that more in a moment once I get this plastic off, which is being quite annoying. This is why we have sharp implements at our disposal. make life a little bit easier. So, if you hadn't guessed already, it is a guard tower type construction. Adam's going to have to vacuum in a bit. That's okay. That's all off-camera magic. So we're just going to pan the camera back up a fraction so we can get a full scope of it. Yes, now as I did say, it is metal. You'll be able to hear that right there. And there is a coil here, and that is supposed to be, I believe, concertina wire. And I feel like that may have come loose, so I'll have to attach that at some point. So now we take our base plate. Just lift this up for a moment. We'll sit that down. I'm going to spin this around. And that will go in like so. Let's just push that back a little bit. Now you'll also notice that there is a gate here, and that is fully functional. And I'll show you a little bit more about that momentarily. And our wall here, I'm guessing that goes in and just sits attached to our pylons here, maybe? Let's have a look. I think, yeah, that's just like, that doesn't look right, does it? There must be some point of that where that sits in, but for the life of me, I cannot see it. So that has to be the right way up, because that sits flush. Now, what that attaches to, it seems that there is a magnet, because I've just felt a magnetic pull. So there you go. We're all learning something. So that just sits in like that. But it doesn't look right to me for some reason, and I don't know why. So I'm going to have to try and ascertain what attaches to that. Okay, so I unfurled the barbed wire across here. Now it's not perfect, but I just figured that was something easier to do rather than fiddling around with it on camera. And as I said, I did feel like this was missing a piece. So what I did was I went back into the box, and stashed within the foam inserts was this here, which is obviously another wired fence railing. So theoretically that should just slot in there like so. I don't think this is magnetized, but we'll soon find out. I think it just sits in there. It's not as easy to get in there as you would think, to be honest. Now this doesn't come with instructions, so this is all learning on the fly, folks. And that just sits there like that. It is a bit bent, but I don't see why that can't be bent back into place. Now, I'm not a massive fan of how this sits just magnetically, but it is what it is. And yeah, it's not popping in fully, but that's better. That's better. Might straighten out with a little bit of time stuck in the peg hole. So that just sits there like that. Now, as for the gate, that opens inwards like so. And it should, I think, theoretically open outwards. No, it doesn't. Okay, it just opens inwards. Now behind it here, there is a little latch, and that locks it securely. As you can see, it's not moving. So I'll just open that back up. So I bought this primarily for my 6-inch classified collection to display on. So without further ado, let's get a couple of those bad boys in the mix and see how it all looks. So as you can see, there is quite a considerable amount of room for 6-inch figures in there. I've got the Crimson Twins obviously in the middle, the CG on the right, and in the tower I actually have 2 Cobra Troopers, and down here you've got the 2 LA Vipers, and then that's not including all the room at the back here, where there's definitely plenty of more room on the base plate and inside the structure to fit more figures. I just wanted to go for a streamlined look, just to give you an idea of scope and perspective of what you can do with this. It would work well also for Joe's, there's no question of that. So what I might do is give you a look at it from a different angle with some Joes in the structure. So as you can see, the Joes work really well with it. I've got Duke over here climbing up the ladder. His hands fit really well onto the rungs of the ladder quite easily. Just a little bit of heat, I guess, on his fingers, just to give him the grip needed to hold on to that. In terms of Flint being placed in a seated position, he is leaning up against the structure of the tower. If I do move him, maybe just due to the surface and the way that his figure is constructed, he does have a bit of a tilt. He will lean backwards. The surface of this is really smooth. In terms of standing figures on it, it is relatively easy, depending on how top heavy they are, I guess. Let's see if we can get Sarge just in a standing position without much hassle. So yeah, there you have that. I moved this wall here from the front of the structure to the back, and obviously it is magnetic, as I said earlier, so it does fit well on there. The base plate, there's nothing holding the actual structure in position, so that's something to be mindful of if you are going to purchase it. The structure will move, as you can see. So if you were to have this on top of a shelf and you happen to suffer from any earth movement, maybe an earthquake, let's say, then yeah, you could have some issues. Other than that, it looks great. I'm a fan of it. I'm happy with my purchase. It wasn't cheap. So I think on BBTS, you're looking at around about $169. And here in Australia, from Zbobtoys, it was $130 from memory. With that said, you do get what you pay for. It is a solid structure. It does have, some good posing functionality, and for display purposes, it looks great. And I think, with the proper backdrop and with additional things added to it, such as like the searchlight that does come with the deluxe version, not with this version, that would give it a different kind of dynamic. I should also add the deluxe set does come with some barriers that are similar to these ones, but they are smaller, probably about half the size. I didn't get those because I didn't get the deluxe set. These ones here were courtesy of my good friend Lenny at Frostbrite's Joe Repro. So those are just 3D printed, but as you can see, when you add certain elements to the set, you can really build on what it has. Like for photography purposes, this is a great set. You could take it outside if you really could be bothered lugging it around, or if you had a good backyard with plenty of greenery, you can set it up really nicely. But it would also, serve you well indoors. Ideally, the flag is not the best place for it, and due to the size and scope of it and the camera angle that I'm using to recording, you see a lot of the backdrop here. But if you put it up on a shelf, as I mentioned earlier, or on a cabinet, it'll look great against the wall. So yeah, that's it pretty much all in all. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you've got something out of it, great. You now know where you can grab it from here in Australia or internationally. I recommend it. It is a little bit pricey, as I did mention earlier, but it is a quality set. My only, dislikes about it is the fact that it doesn't sit flush in the base, but it's a small gripe because you are able to move the structure forward and backwards to suit your purposes. No instructions either, but it's not that complex to put together. Just a little bit of fiddling around until you get it right. I'm probably going to go with, let's see, I want to say a solid 4 out of 5. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you feel like it. If you don't, great. And yeah, have a great day. Until next time.